Welcome, and thank you too for joining us on our 3-day funding clarity challenge. My name is Trina Edwards, and I am your favorite food truck startup business coach. I am here helping entrepreneurs find funding to launch your food truck business while working a 9 to 5. And today, on the first day, we are going to be talking about credit. We're going to be talking about how you can make sure that you are ready before you start applying for funding so that you're not damaging your credit when you do get in the right position to start applying for credit. I know. That's okay. Just stick with me. A lot of things go on. People need funding now. I get it. I get it. You need it now. You're anxious. You're ready. You're excited. Let's say excited. You're excited about taking your business to the next level. And you know that once you get the funding that you need, that you can definitely be able to help more customers, correct? But many people are applying, and you are actually damaging your chances of being able to get the funding that you need. So what I need you to do is to hold tight, take a deep breath, and go with me on this 3-day journey challenge to definitely let you know so that you can have a more informed decision, so that you can make a more informed decision before you start applying, okay? I'm gonna calm down too, okay? So today we are in day 1 of the 3-day funding readiness clarity challenge, and let's move forward. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them for later, and we definitely can discuss them then at the end of this slide, okay? So, day 1 topic is this. We're going to talk to you about credit score versus credit profile and why having an LLC alone does not necessarily equal funding, okay? Personal versus business readiness and common myths that won't waste your time, okay? So let's keep moving. First of all, I want you to make sure you get in your mindset 2 separate areas. There's your credit score, and then there is your credit profile, okay? Your credit score is a number. We have that understanding, right? Your credit profile is the story. Your credit score is a snapshot. Your credit profile is the full picture that lenders really look at, okay? The score shows your risk at a glance. Your profile shows your behavior over time. Lenders approve based on your patterns, not just your score. So you can have a score of 740, okay? But if that's possible, if you are making late payments, you have derogatory marks, you'll have like 8 inquiries, which I just seen off a credit score just a few days ago, then that's sending a red flag to that lender, okay? That means that's giving them the thoughts that you're desperate. You really need money now. And people that are desperate for money, they don't make the best decisions, okay? But they want to see your patterns. They want to see how you have handled the credit that you have already in the past. They will want to consider you a risk. If they think that you are a risk, then they will not offer you the funding that you need, okay? So we don't want to look desperate. You may be desperate, but we don't want to look desperate, okay? We don't want them to know that, all right? Example. 2 people came and they had a credit score of 680. One got approved, one got denied. The difference was what's inside the report, not on the outside. Remember, the number is what they see on the outside. Okay, but the inside is more important, okay? So funding decisions are made in the details, not the numbers, okay? Next, here we go. A good score can still get denied. Let me put that down. Uh-oh. There we go. A good score can get denied. The key points to keep in mind is that you have a thin file. I just worked with a credit report yesterday. Yes, that file was thin. And guess what? They got like 3 or 4 denials when we moved forward. They were desperate. They wanted me to pursue and see what they could get anyway. And I did that. But the truth of the matter is, I kept hitting rock bottom. They kept saying, no, unfortunately, you're not approved. We can't help you. So I had to go back and let them know that there was something else they needed to do before they keep pursuing funding, because they also had 8 different inquiries, and that's a red flag. You should not have more than 3 inquiries per credit bureau in a 6 months period. Okay. So you have to pace it out. So maybe you have recent late payments. They matter. They matter. The recent late payments matter than the old ones. If you had a late payment maybe a year ago, okay. But if you had it recently within the 6 month period, last 6 months, then that's a red flag to our lenders, okay? High balances hurt more than people realize. You have a $10,000 credit card and you are at 8,000, or you've maxed it out. That's another red flag to lenders as well. So you want to make sure you pay that down to at least 10%. I know 30% is what everyone is saying, but now you look much better if you pay that down to what, just 10% of utilization on there, okay? Too many recent inquiries signals desperation, which I just shared with you. Though the gentleman I was working with yesterday had 8 different inquiries. And that's what the response came back and said, you had too many inquiries. His credit was kind of thin. It really was thin because they only had one credit bureau on there. So there are some other things definitely that he needs to do first before he decides to apply for a credit again, okay? What lenders look for instead? They look for someone who has on-time payment history. They love you. They love people like that because you're showing that you're credit worthy. You're worthy of the funding that you are asking for, that there's a high chance that you're going to pay them back on time. You're going to keep your word. All right. One of the things I try to help people understand is that your credit score is like a report card, okay? You don't want people to think that you're not going to pay them back. If someone was to look at your credit score, let's just go here with me. If someone was to look at your credit score today and look at it, would they say that you are an honest person, or would they say you don't keep your word? Oh, wow. Ouch. Okay? Life happens, but we don't have to stay there. We can make the decision to correct those things little by little. I don't care if it's just 20, if you add an extra $20 a month to a bill that you know is not in right standing, okay? What about your credit age? How long have you had credit? Okay? Lenders like to see at least 5 years plus of credit age. That means you've been with PNC 6 years or 7 years, or Chase or whoever, Capital One, Navy Federal. They like to see that you have longevity. Okay. Mixed accounts. Do you have mixed accounts? That's like a mortgage loan, rent, what else? A car note, things, credit cards, that's a mix account, okay? Mixed account usage, okay? And that's one of the things, once again, at the credit report that I looked at yesterday, they didn't have a lot of mixed accounts. Actually, one of the comments that came back was that they didn't have proof of any rental or mortgage history. That's something they look for too. Stability. They want to know that you are a stable person, that you're not going to be here today and gone tomorrow, okay? So a credit score with no history is like a resume with no experience. So we want to get it right. We want to get things in position and correct before we apply, okay? That's why we're here today. Your credit profile tells lenders how you use credit. Here's some things to think about. Do you have maxed out credit cards or do you manage your balances? Do you pay minimum balances or do you reduce the debt and pay a little more? Do you apply often for credit or are you being strategic about applying for credit and funding? Next, do you have consistency month over month? Can they see that when they read your credit score? We have to think like a bank. Would you lend you money? Okay. I'm not going to jab too hard. Okay. Would you lend yourself money if you was the banker? That's okay. That's why we're here. We're going to get it together. We're going to learn these strategies so that we can get the funding that we need so that we can take our business to the next level. That's all. We're just educating you today. Okay. Scores fluctuate. Profile build slowly. All right. You can boost the score quickly, but you have to build your fundability. You have to build your score in order to be fundable. You have to do it intentionally. Okay. Funding. My role here, let me move this up the way for you. My role here isn't to fix your credit. It really isn't. My role here is to help you understand how lenders read your credit, how they review you when after they look at your credit. So you don't apply too soon and waste another inquiry, so that you don't keep applying and damage your credit even more before you can even get the funding that you need. As we begin to wrap this up, so what do lenders actually look for? Now that you understand the difference between a credit score and a credit profile, the next thing is obvious. If lenders aren't approving based on credit score alone, what are they looking for? Before I end this, I want you to remember that the credit score, this is how I like to remember this. Your credit score is the doorway, and your credit profile is the house. Okay. So you need to get your house together and stop focusing on the doorway. The doorway is good. I don't want to say 740 is great, but the lenders really wants to see what's in the house. Okay. They want to be nosy. That's what the profile is. They want to see your profile. They want to see that you pay your bills on time. You don't have any collections, no derogatory marks, no bankruptcies. Okay. So tomorrow, I'll go and I'm going to be walking you through the exact factors that lenders review before they say yes or no, so that you're not just guessing, but you are applying strategically. No more guessing. We're putting a plan in place so that you can get a yes versus continually to receive a no. If you've watched this far, go ahead and follow this page. Comment funding below if you want to see if you are ready to get the funding that you need, if you're in the right position. If not, then just schedule a call below and we can talk privately to see how I can best support you in getting in the right position so that you can stop hearing those no and getting denied and getting discouraged, okay? Once again, my name is Trina Edwards, and I am your favorite food truck startup business coach. I am helping entrepreneurs to find funding to launch their food truck business while working a 9 to 5. Thanks for watching today. See you soon.